Good morning, fans. This is your girl from Mel's Mat Chat, and this is episode 302 of the podcast. How is everybody doing today? Um, you're going to be seeing this at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I've already done this, and it's right now 3:50. It's ten to 4 in the morning, so you're gonna get it early in the morning. Because I got an announcement to make. My dad's coming in for a unexpected visit because of personal issues, and I'm not gonna reveal them. But he said, "Am I gonna be like free today and whatnot?" And I said, "Yes, of course." And he's like, "Well, we're going out to dinner, and I'm gonna get to see my dad." And I've been seeing him in over a year, and I miss him so much. And I'm gonna get to see him next month. So it's like I'm like a little kid in a candy store right now. So I can't do this at 2 o'clock because I'm gonna be leaving around 4 o'clock, and for me to do this would be too much. I have to get dressed, get ready, be somewhat decent. I mean, we're going out to dinner and everything, so it is what it is. But we're going to be going through the fallout of Monday Night Raw. You're not going to get SmackDown of the fallout of SummerSlam until next week, so I'm sorry for that. So it's going to be Collision, Rampage, and Dynamite, and Monday Night Raw, and then we're done, and I'll get you out of here. I was thinking I was doing all the five ones, but you can check all that out on the preview predictions of SummerSlam. Please also go check out the review of my of WWE SummerSlam 2023. I haven't slept yet, so I was drinking wine earlier before I started recording this. So if you see me a little woozy or a little high-eyed, it's because I am still under the influence of alcohol. That is why I'm drinking coffee at 3:50 or almost 4 o'clock in the morning to get my ass moving. So, nevertheless, we're gonna go and do AEW, and then I'll get you to Raw, get you out of here. It's very simple. So this episode of Mel's Mat Chat, episode 301, is dedicated to the five people over at My Astro Classics. Visit myastroclassics.com and get all your beard essentials. Also, please do me a favor and go check out the people over at Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Go get the artillery for murdering your thirst, because when you are thirsty, you need all the ammunition you can get. Please also go check out the people over at Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. Visit their website for all your coffee needs and accessories. Next weekend, August 18th, High Intensity 10, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus HOG Wrestling's World Champion Matt Cardona. So if you can't get there, and if you can get tickets, get them at hogwrestling.net. And if you can't get there, please go download the Premier app, pay $99.99 a month, and you get a plethora of wrestling like we need anymore. Before we get to the reviews and everything like that, I will no longer be promoting Harry's on my channel. I still use the product, but I will not be promoting it. I found out a lot of things, and I'm not thrilled about it. It goes against my religion and my political views, so it just would be best for me not to mention them anymore. I want to expand and possibly try the $5 shave club thing. See if it's my jam. If the razors are different, or if the products are different, I will gladly switch. I got to just do my homework of what they support and everything, because I'm not thrilled about what they support, and I can't knowingly as what I believe in to keep on supporting them, and it's very disheartening, and it's very disturbing what they promote. And I'm not going to tell you if I will do that on my very own time. I'm not going to put it on my YouTube channel. I don't want that garbage on my YouTube, but I will address it on maybe Twitter, or maybe a Twitter video or something like that. Speaking of, sorry, Twitter, X. I mean X. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'll probably always think of it's Twitter. Uh, Last night I did a reaction. I did a live reaction of Impact, and I am going to do that next week and the week after, and then so on and so forth. Unless my son is home, then I am not going to do it, because that's not fair for him to have a light on and whatnot. And the only place that I can get access TV is on my television. So when that's the case, what I will do is probably do like a mini review, like maybe or what I'll just do is I'll give you my thoughts on it on the next episode of the show. Please do me a favor, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, X. I said TikTok and Facebook. I think Snapchat is going to go away permanently, and it's only going to be towards like certain people that I will give access to, because I'm really pissed off of what happened. I've lost a lot. I even lost memories that I will never get back, and it was disheartening that they took that away from me. But it is what it is. Okay, Rampage. They were in the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. We started off with Limitless Keith Lee, the Hardys Matt and Jeff versus Kip Sabian, Penelope, and the Butcher and the Blade. It was a trios match. Kip shook hands with Jeff and then kicked him in the midsection. Sabian mocked Jeff Hardy by dancing like him. Jeff came back with a Russian leg sweep. Matt Hardy tagged in, and Jeff vaulted off Matt's back and splashed Kip in the corner. Matt Hardy dropped an elbow on Kip. He tried for a twist of fate, but Kip rammed him into the turnbuckles and then tagged out to Blade. Matt rocked Blade with a side effect for a near fall. Butcher charged at him at Matt Hardy, but Hardy dodged him. Hardy pounded Butcher's head into the turnbuckle and then tagged in Jeff. Jeff used his speed because he can't deal with the power of the Butcher, said Taz. Butcher rocked Jeff with a half Nelson into a backbreaker. Jeff rallied back with a jawbreaker and grabbed a tag to Keith Lee. Keith Lee cleaned house on all three members of the opposition. Keith Lee power slammed Kip and went for the pin, but Butcher broke up the pin. Matt Hardy hit a twist of fate on Blade and Butcher. Keith Lee swatted Sabian out of the air and then choked slammed him. Jeff Hardy smashed Kip with a swanton bomb and then pinned him. The Young Bucks were backstage. Nick Jackson. We've been focusing on trios, but I think it's time we got back to the tag team division. Matt Jackson. Hey, Matt and Jeff, I see you standing there awkwardly staring at us. Thanks for having our back on Wednesday. Great match tonight on Rampage. Matt Hardy. So I heard you guys are re-entering the tag team division. So why not just dive into the deep end and face the goats of Matt and Jeff? Matt, holy crap, that would be awesome to wrestle the second best brother tag team of all time. Now how about we see you on Wednesday? Matt Hardy says we'll see you on Dynamite. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Nick and Matt Jackson. The only fucking tag team that are the best is the Usos. So please spare us. Anna Jay versus Sky Blue. Sky Blue used a side headlock. Sky tested out the jaw of Anna with a elbow strikes. Sky followed up with a thrust kick. Anna Jay fought back with a dangerous J kick. Sky Blue connected with a diving crossbody onto Anna Jay. She rocked Anna with a running knee strike. Blue cradled Anna for a near fall. Anna Jay cracked Sky with a mule kick and then a flatliner for a 2 count on Sky Blue. Anna Jay got rocked by a thrust kick. Angela Parker and Matt Menard jumped on the apron to distract Sky Blue. Anna Jay jumped Blue from behind while Blue was dealing with Parker. Anna locked on the Queen Slayer and then forced Sky Blue to tap out. Tony Schiavone and Paul Wright were at Daly's place. They announced that the Bastard Pack is injured, but this Wednesday the Lucha Brothers will face the winners of the parking lot fight. The Mogul Embassy, Swerve Strickland and AR Fox versus Logan Cruz and Tashawn Perez. Very quick, AR Fox blasted Cruz and Perez with a drop kick off the top rope. He wiped them out, launching himself over the top rope and crashing down onto them on the arena floor. Swerve and Fox double teamed their opponents. Fox nailed Cruz with a cutter. Swerve hit a brainbuster, and then Fox finished off Cruz with a 450 splash, scoring the pin. Main event time, parking lot fight. The Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley versus the Best Friends Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Moxley jammed Trent with a fork in the forehead. Trent was busted wide open. Claudio suplexed Chuck Taylor onto the hood of the car. I don't think Moxley can ever fucking wrestle without bleeding. Trent jumped off the top of the car with a cross body press to Moxley. Trent used a fork on Moxley's forehead. Claudio ripped off a spoiler from the back of the car and cracked Trent over the back with it. The Best Friends slammed the hood of the car onto Claudio's head. The BCC turned the tables and slammed the car hood onto Trent, and they powerbombed Chuck onto the hood, smashing it onto his partner. Claudio swung Trent in the big swing and whipped him right into the trash can. Chuck whacked Claudio and Mox over the head with a street sign. Moxley headbutted Chuck and then suplexed Chuck onto a safety rail. Trent crushed Claudio with a senton on a bike rack. Moxley spiked Chuck with a paradigm shift onto the roof of a car. Trent hit the Dude Buster on Claudio on the car roof. Moxley jumped up and applied a rear naked choke to Trent. Moxley and Trent traded strikes on the hood of a car. Moxley smashed Trent through the windshield of a car with a Death Rider. Chuck Taylor had a flaming barbed wire 2x4 and was ready to maul Moxley with it when Wheeler Yuta jumped out of the back of a parked vehicle. Yuta dared Taylor to hit him, but Taylor couldn't get himself to do it. While this was occurring, Moxley snuck behind Chuck Taylor and grabbed the 2x4 out of his hands. Moxley swung it into Chuck Taylor's abdomen. Wheeler went to work on Chuck. Wheeler went to work on Chuck Taylor's forehead with a screwdriver. Trent's mom, Sue, pulled up in a minivan. Orange Cassidy was riding on the roof, coming to the rescue. Cassidy jumped off the top of the minivan and hit Mox and Claudio with a cross body press. Orange Cassidy wrapped a steel chair around his fist as he approached Wheeler Yuta, but Claudio chop blocked Orange. The BCC swarmed Orange Cassidy and began to pummel him with strikes. Wheeler Yuta DDT Orange Cassidy on the hood of the Sue's minivan. Moxley curb stomped Trent Beretta onto the minivan windshield. Claudio covered Trent and pinned him. Wheeler Yuta continued to ground and pound Orange Cassidy. Moxley destroyed him. So that was that. So we're going to go right into Collision. Collision was being broadcast live from the Bonsors Seacours Wellness Center in Greenville, South Carolina. We started off with the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Hardwood versus the Embassy, Big Bill, and the Machine, Brian Cage. Cash Wheeler hugged his mother, who was sitting front row. Brian Cage steamrolled Cash with a shoulder tackle. Dax Harwood tagged in and charged at Cage with his own shoulder block. Cage nailed Dax Hardwood with a forearm. Cage ran through both members of FTR with massive running shoulder ram. Big Bill tagged in and he slammed Cash FTR for a shatter machine on Big Bill, but Dax couldn't lift up Big Bill. Cash was choked slammed by Big Bill onto Dax. Dax is back. Big Bill press slammed Cash over the top rope and threw Cash down onto Dax on the arena floor. Big Bill hammered Cash outside the ring, right in front of Cash's mother. Big Bill blew a kiss at Cash's mother, and she had enough of taunting, slapping Big Bill right in the mush. Brian Cage superplexed Cash into the ring. Big Bill hoisted up Wheeler in a torture rack. Cash escaped, but Big Bill decapitated Cash with a clothesline. Cash made the hot tag to Dax, and Dax cleaned house on Big Bill and Brian Cage with a flurry of offense. Dax lifted up Cash on his shoulders, and Cash jumped off the top with a bulldog, a play out of the Steiner Brothers playbook for a near fall on Brian Cage. Brian Cage managed to lift up both members of FTR at the same time and hurled them to the mat. Brian Cage jumped over the top rope with a cannonball to the outside of the ring. Big Bill blasted Cash with a big boot for a near fall. The fans chanted, "This is awesome, this is awesome." FTR connected with a shatter machine on Brian Cage and pinned him. Cash Wheeler, we're going to get hit. We're going to get in a little bit of trouble tonight. 10 years ago, we started a legacy. We talked about being the greatest tag team of all time. And I thought every promotion, every promotion we've been through, we were world champion. To complete the legacy and be known as the greatest tag team of all time, there's one thing we got to do. One thing left for FTR to do. Dax Hardwood, Young Bucks, we said we had unfinished business. So how about we finish it at Wembley Stadium? Cash Wheeler, 80,000 strong, Young Bucks, FTR, the rubber match. Who's the greatest tag team of all time? Top guys out. TBS Championship match, Chris Statlander versus Mercedes Martinez. Martinez charged and clubbed Chris with a strikes. Statlander rallied back with a shotgun dropkick. Martinez took down Statlander with a butterfly suplex. Chris cracked Martinez with a big kick. Statlander, unrelenting resilience, determined to smash Mercedes with a running boot. She jumped at Mercedes with a crossbody press to the outside, but Mercedes moved out of the way. Chris came back with a snap power slam on Martinez for a near fall. Martinez came back with a spider suplex to the champ. Martinez rocked Chris with a running knee strike for a 2 count. Statlander planted Martinez with a fisherman buster driver for a near fall. Martinez countered a wheelbarrow, almost scoring an upset pin on Chris. The champ rolled back with a bridge and pinned Martinez. Martinez attacked Chris after the grounding and pounding her here. Diamante sprinted to the ring, looked at Martinez, and then began to pummel Chris. Willow Nightingale ran to the aid of the fallen champion. Martinez and Diamante retreated outside the ring. Tony Schiavone was backstage to interview former Women's World Champion Toni Storm. Toni Storm, former, yes, okay, I can handle that. I could stand here feeling naked as as the day I was born. And a lot of fucking guys just went like, huh. But don't worry, I'm not going to freak out like you think I'm going to. But let me ask you this. Am I not a star anymore? Look at the state of me. Look at me. Do you really think that this is right for me? No, it's not. I'm the illustrious Toni Storm. This is not right. This interview is over, so now you can shut up. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Samoa Joe versus Serpentico. Samoa Joe locked in Serpentico right into a submission and forced him to tap right away. So then Joe gets on the mic. Samoa Joe says, "My name is Samoa Joe. You're one true king of television. I've got a few problems. First one being soon, at a sold-out Wembley Stadium, we go all in, and your king has no one to dance with. And that leads to our second problem. While a certain real world champion was traveling around the world saying he was best in the world, I knew in my heart I wasn't better. He wasn't better than me. A day in his life. But I recently lost that luxury at Owen Hart Invitational. It's not the fact I lost it, it's how I lost it. Because me and this so-called real world champion have battled for over 3 hours in this ring. Damn it, a roll-up is not good enough for our legacy. So I come here, champ, to ask you to give me what I want. To ask you to give these people what they want. To ask to give our legacy what it deserves. For you and me and the eyes of the world upon us, giving these people everything we have. But you know this, champ, my courtesy extends only to this week. If you make me wait until next week, you best believe I'll convince your ass punk." We're going to have that at all in. Take my money. Tony Schiavone had a sit-down interview with the Acclaim earlier in the day. Anthony Bowens was holding Daddy Ass's wrestling boots. "Bowens, we spoke with Daddy Ass over this weekend, and we tried to give him his boots back. He wouldn't take them. He's pretty firm with his decision and is officially retired." Tony Schiavone, why did he say why? Bowens, he kept saying that it was his fault that we lost the tag team titles and that Malachi pinned him twice in a row. He feels like he lost a step in a high-pressure scenario, but I disagree. Schiavone, where does the Acclaim go from here, Max? Max Caster, look, I want to respect Billy's decision. If he is done, he's done, but he's given us so much. Bowens, he thinks he failed us. Maybe we failed him. Billy, I hope you're watching this because I hope you understand how much you've meant to Max and I. Because we're two people who are trying to find ourselves on a roster to prove that we are elite. You were the one person that believed in us. And that's because of that we are going to call ourselves champions. So we're going to miss you. We're going to go out every week with these boots for you. And just hope you know how much everyone loves you. So one last time, please, if you could throw up those scissors on the couch and scissor me daddy ass. I'm actually breaking up during this. I was actually breaking up. It's crazy. Badass Billy Gunn was in my teenage years. And it's crazy to find that these people that are not that much older than me, they're at least 10 to 15 years older than me, that they're retiring. That says a lot for me because I'm 41 and I'm going to be 42 next year, and it's freaking me the fuck out, honestly. AEW World Trios Championship open house match. House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King versus Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and Lee Johnson. I wanted to throw out a congratulations to Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley. They are getting married. I'm sorry that I have to be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. I'm hoping that it doesn't change the dynamic with Rhea and Dominic, because that would devastate me. I would be pissed off, honestly. The chosen stipulation for this match was Julia Hart was banned from ringside. That was a clever play by the challengers, said Ian. Brody rocked Martin with a shoulder block. Martin connected with a thrust kick. Martin jumped with a high crossbody but bounced right off of Brody, who didn't budge. Malachi tagged in and hit a back elbow on Martin. Action tagged in and took down Black with a Hurricane Rana. Black shoved Action into the barricade. Malachi swept out the leg of Action. Matthews launched Andretti, tossing him onto the top rope. Lee Johnson tagged in and moonsaulted into a double DDT on Buddy and Black. He jumped a second time with a double cutters. Big Shotty taking his shot, said Nigel. The House of Black is engulfed Lee with the three-headed beast. Action jumped in to make the save. He moonsaulted to the outside on Black and Buddy. Martin and Action nailed Brody with a double thrust kicks. Brody wiped out Martin with a discus lariat and then pinned him. Ian Riccaboni received breaking news over the headset from Tony Khan. Next week on Collision, it will be the House of Black against CMFTR and for the AEW World Trios Championships. By the way, fucking Lee Johnson ended up fucking on the couch because he goes out with Julia Hart. Tony Schiavone was backstage with Powerhouse Hobbs. QT Marshall and Harley Cameron interrupt and told Tony Schiavone to leave. QT, Powerhouse, I told you I would make this right, so I have some gifts. First, the finest Cuban links money can buy. The second is not material, it's an opportunity. Think about it now. Chicago, All Out, United Center, where Collision started. Powerhouse Hobbs gets the biggest victory of his career. I'm handing you the biggest win and the proverbial silver platter. How does that sound? Powerhouse Hobbs, I don't want your help, and I'm damn sure I don't need your help. After the commercial break, Tony Schiavone was backstage with the TNT champion Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. Christian Cage, I have my daughter here tonight. People might be wondering why I brought my daughter to Collision. It's very simple. To prove a point that as TNT champion, the face of TNT, I realize that I'm a role model for children all over the world, not just my own child. I'll take Adam Copeland for 5,000, Alex. He is no role model. What really annoying to me lately, looking at a guy like Darby Allin, who seems to be mentoring an 18-year-old snot-nosed punk kid who has no business being in AEW, let alone stepping foot inside my ring. Christian Cage's daughter looked at her father and asked, "Can I have your belt?" Christian Cage, did you win this belt? You didn't not win this belt. Nobody touches this except for me. Go find your mother. I am the TNT champion now and forever. Do you understand me? Metalik versus the Bullet Club Gold Switchblade Jay White with rock hard Juice Robinson and the Guns in the corner. The Guns joined the broadcast team for this match. Jay White backed Metalik into the turnbuckles and began to stomp a mud hole into him. Jay White planted Metalik with a DDT for a near fall. White drove Metalik into the steel ring post. Jay White nailed Metalik with a backbreaker. Metalik jumped over the ropes with a Hurricane Rana. Metalik tried for a moonsault, but Jay White moved out of the way. White blasted Metalik with a Cobra Clutch suplex, then finished him off with Blade Runner, scoring the pin. Now we have main event time. We have the Real World's Champion match. CM Punk versus the 2023 Owen Hart Foundation winner, Absolute Ricky Starks. Now we have a special enforcer or referee outside, so it's an enforcer. They'll be outside the ring. WWE Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was present for this. So before the match started, we have WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross returned and joined the commentating team for the main event. Ricky the Dragon, WWE Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was the special guest outside referee for the match. Punk hip tossed Starks, but Ricky Starks used Steamboat-style arm drags on Punk. Stark mocked Punk, mimicking his GTS hand gesture. Starks pummeled Punk in the corner with a closed fist strike. Starks hit Punk with a clothesline, and both men tumbled over the top rope onto the arena floor. Punk and Starks traded open hand strikes. Punk answered with body shots, unloading on the challenger. Starks slapped Punk in the face, playing mind games. Punk mounted Starks outside the ring and grounded and pounded him. Ricky Steamboat pulled Punk off of Starks. Stark used a baseball slide to Punk's face. Punk attempted a sunset flip, but Ricky held onto the ropes. Punk suplexed Starks off the top rope. Punk built momentum with a swinging neckbreaker on Ricky. Punk hit a signature bulldog on Ricky for a near fall. Punk lowered his knee and knee pad. He charged at Ricky, and Ricky caught him and powerbombed him. Punk for a near fall. Stark shoved Punk into the ring post. Stark went for a spear, but Punk dodged him. Punk blasted Stark with a big kick to the head. Ricky countered a pile driver with a beautiful overhead Alabama slam. Stark accidentally collided with the referee, knocking the ref outside the ring. Typical. Starks used a double leg takedown. He covered Punk, but his feet was on the ropes. Ricky Steamboat wouldn't allow for it. He knocked Starks off his feet. As Starks stared at Steamboat in disbelief, Punk rolled up Starks and pinned him. After the match, Starks blindsided Steamboat, knocking him onto Punk. Starks jumped on top of Steamboat and began to hammer him with right hands. Starks pulled off Steamboat's belt and began to whip him with it. Punk tried to make the save, but Starks hit Punk with the belt. Punk grabbed a steel chair and jumped into the ring to save Steamboat. Starks may have lost the match, but in doing so, may have made a statement, said Nigel. CM Punk chased Starks away, throwing a steel chair at him. And that is the end of Collision. I had to actually watch that Sunday morning, due to the fact is that I had to watch SummerSlam. Dynamite was coming from the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. I started off with the The Jericho Appreciation Society mandatory meeting. Jake Hager, Matt Menard, Angelo Parco, Anna Jay, Sammy Guevara, Tay Mello, and Daniel Garcia were all in the ring. Matt Menard called out the leader, Chris Jericho, to the ring. Jericho was upset that JS went to the ring without him, without his knowledge. Garcia told Jericho to stop talking and asked Jericho to listen to them for once. I sacrificed so much for you. I turned my back on my friends for you. I chose you, so don't get why you never chose us, because you're not choosing us. I can't do this anymore. Hold on, my nose. Daniel Garcia stormed out of the ring. Hager, I'm not surprised. I've known you longer than any one of these guys. You made me a lot of money, but I have to cut ties tonight. That's okay, because everyone knows that we have a lot of options. Everyone knows that I like that. I like that hat. Everyone knows. I want everybody to know that I do not appreciate Jericho. Jake Hager walked out of the ring. Jericho, before this gets out of control, we have to agree that your careers are bigger since you joined me. Tay, I used to be proud to be in this group with you, Chris, but not anymore. Right now I feel sick, and I'm not even talking about the baby. It seems like you cannot make a decision, so I will. I will go have this baby, come back next year and become champion without you or your help, because I quit. Anna J, you helped yourself more than you helped any one of us. Tonight is about winning the AEW Women's World Championship, and it's not about appreciating you. Anna J and Tay left the ring. Angela Parker, I love being a sports entertainer. Chris, when you asked me to join the JAS, I took that as a badge of honor. I've given you everything I could. I've stood by your side and fought every battle with you with pride. But Chris, what have you given me? Chris, I don't want to do this, but you've given me no choice. I've got nothing left to give you, man. Angela Parker left the ring. We had Matt Menard. Chris Jericho was my childhood hero. With my first paycheck, my first job, I bought a Chris Jericho t-shirt. You took me under your wing. The last 18 months I've been nothing but the last 18 months have been nothing but a dream for me. It's never sat right with me why guys I came up with, why they hate your guts, and now I'm starting to understand why. And he actually mentioned Kevin Steen. Not Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen. So then Matt Menard left the ring. Chris Jericho, all right, Sammy. Sammy Guevara, I need you to listen for once. I had your back since day one. I am not going to walk out on you, man, because you're my friend. Maybe I was wrong. It seems like you have done you have a lot of stuff to work out. I hope you do, and if you do, maybe I'll be there. Sammy left the ring and Jericho stood alone. I have this feeling that those guys are going to join the Don Callis family, and we're going to have a massive fucking Don Callis family in rivaling the Heenan family. If I'm right, you heard it here first. Honestly. After a commercial break, Renee Paquette was tried to interview Jericho backstage. Don Callis walked onto the scene. Jericho said he had an announcement as to whether he joined the Don Callis family, and he will plan to do it next week. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff, versus the Young Bucks, Nick and Mac Jackson. Matt Jackson and Jeff Hardy locked up. Jeff used an atomic drop and then a neck breaker on Matt Jackson. Jeff tagged in Matt Hardy, and the Hardys planted Nick Jackson onto Matt Jackson. The Hardys worked great as a tandem, said Tony Schiavone. This is going to be very repetitive, so just bear with me. There's too many Nicks. There's too many Mats in one match for my liking. Matt Hardy powerbombed Matt Jackson. Nick tagged in and cleaned house on the Hardys. Nick face planted Matt Hardy. The Jackson hit risky business on Matt Hardy. Nick went over the top rope and wiped out the Hardys on the floor. Matt rallied back with a side effect on Matt Jackson. Jeff and Nick tagged in for their respective teams. Hardy drop kicked Nick and went for the pin, but Matt Jackson broke it up. Jeff Hardy jumped off the top rope with a whisper in the wind for a near fall on Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson connected with a super kick to Jeff Hardy. The Young Bucks hit a 3D on Jeff Hardy for a 2 count. The Hardys laid out the Bucks. Jeff jumped onto Nick with a swanton bomb, but Matt broke up the pin this time. Jeff spiked Nick with a twist of fate. Matt Hardy super kicked Jeff on the top rope. The Bucks blasted Matt with a BTE trigger and pinned him. Nick Jackson, FTR. AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler walked out to the ring. FTR said Young Bucks had a stare down. Nick Jackson, all in. FTR raised the belts and nod their heads. Well, the challenge has been accepted, said Taz. FTR, the Young Bucks, the third match in the trilogy. The Young Bucks, FTR, they are all in. Tony Khan has just made it official for the AEW World Tag Team Championships at All In London, said Excalibur. Excalibur announced on Sunday, August 24th, live on pay-per-view, there will be a fatal four-way for the match for the AEW Women's World Championship. As former AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm has received a bye. Oh my God. But Hikaru Shida, who was the champion, doesn't get a bye. And she had to fight her way in. Smart move, fucking Tony Khan. And there will be matches to determine the other 3 competitors. It will be the winner of tonight's match between AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay. The winner of the Saraya and Sky Blue match, which will take place Friday on Rampage, and the winner of the match between the Bunny and Dr. Britt Baker with DMD, which will take place next week on Dynamite. FTW Championship match, Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam. This match was contested under FTW rules. Jack Perry was wearing Jerry Lynn-inspired ring attire. Jack Perry blindsided RVD. Justin Roberts was making the ring introductions. RVD nailed Jack Perry with a leg lariat in the corner. Jack Perry gouged RVD's eyes. RVD hoisted up Jack and then dropped him on the ring barricade. He followed up with a spinning leg drop to Jack Perry on the outside. Oh my God, he broke him in half, said Taz. Back in the ring, Jack Perry was looking to hit Rolling Thunder on Jack Perry, but RVD dodged it. RVD monkey flipped Jack Perry halfway across the ring. He followed it up by using his educated feet to smash a steel chair onto Jack Perry's face. RVD crushed Jack Perry with a Rolling Thunder onto the steel chair for a near fall. Jack Perry dodged a split-legged moonsault. Jack Perry threw a chair at RVD, but inadvertently hit the referee, knocking Bryce to the mat. RVD shoved Jack Perry off the top turret rope. Jack Perry crash-landed through a table on the arena floor. RVD climbed to the top rope and smashed Jack Perry with a 5-star frog splash. Ref Aubrey Everett sprinted to the ring to make the count, but Jack Perry kicked out at 2. RVD questioning Aubrey's count. Jack Perry hit RVD with a low blow from behind. Jack Perry cradled RVD, holding onto RVD's trunks, and scored the pin. It's FTW rules. Anything goes, and Jack Perry retains, said Excalibur. Our next AEW World Champion MJF, out next AEW World Champion MJF and Adam Cole. MJF, the devil has arrived, and apparently there's footage of me around saying that everyone in the Midwest is mid. I think we can all agree that the footage is heavily edited and fake. Adam Cole, Max, listen, I know we're going to be wrestling for your AEW World Championship at All In, which I'm going to beat you, by the way. MJF, whoa, 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 whoa. I get it now. We're gonna be in the main event of All In, and you want a little promo battle, huh? Adam Cole, no, that's not what I'm saying. MJF, okay, Adam Cole, you are so skinny, a ghostly white pale. If you were in the 80s, Hogan would have snorted you. You noodle-armed, bobble-headed Adam Cole. Max, stop. That's not what I was wanting to do. I don't want to do a promo battle here. Hear me out. MJF, guys, that's my bad. I totally misread the situation. I swear to God, these two remind me of this generation's Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and it gets more blatant each day. If you took what they did at that bounce park and you paired it to fucking goddamn what they did at ESPN's kitchen, it's basically the same fucking concept. So then, Adam Cole, Max, we're going to make history at Wembley Stadium for the AEW World Championship. But as far as I'm concerned, let's go all in with making history. Because I am pretty sure all of you loved us as a tag team, right? I am pretty sure all of you would love to see if we had some tag team gold around our waists. So listen, as difficult as it was to not successfully win those AEW World Tag Team Champions, I've had my eyes set on another tag team champions. And these tag team champions, they mean just as much to me as the AEW World Tag Team titles. I'm talking about the Ring of Honor or World Tag Team Championships. Because truth be told, I owe my entire career to Ring of Honor. I would not be standing in this ring if it wasn't for Ring of Honor. The pro wrestling that you know and love, that is thanks to the company like Ring of Honor. I'm a former 3-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, former Ring of Honor Survival of the Fittest winner. But one championship I never won was the Ring of Honor World Tag Team title. And if you look at the history, the people who have held the ROH World Tag Team titles, they're looking at the best of the best. I'm talking about the Kings of Wrestling. Teams like Red Dragon, teams like Martin J. Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers. They set the bar on the tag team wrestling. It is all about. And I think it's time better than you say Bebe shows how damn good we are. So AEW All In, Wembley Stadium. The pay-per-view goes live, but before that, in Wembley Stadium, AEW has a little something called 0 Hour. Max, I'm going to cut right to the chase. Not only do I think we should challenge for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, but damn it, we should become your new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. That's a great story, but run that by me one more time. You want me to wrestle not once, but twice in one night? What are you, some kind of sick pervert? You are my bro honcho for life. And lucky for you, Daddy is a sucker for a cheap pop. Columbus, Ohio, who wants to see MJF and Adam Cole become your new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions? Well then, screw it. As your scumbag, Aussie Open 0 Hour, Wembley, we are challenging you to a match for the ROH World Tag Team titles. So then Roderick Strong comes out. Roderick Strong. Adam, I can't believe you actually want to win the ROH World Tag Team Champions with him, but not with an ROH legend and your actual real best friend, me. MJF, hold on. Listen up, Roddy. I'm getting real sick of your weirdo, jealous ex girlfriend vibes. So here's what I want to do. I want you to do whatever all you weird genetic white people normally do in this situation. I want you to get into your car. I want you to go home. I want you to run up the stairs. I want you to slam the door in your room. I want you to jump into your bed. I want you to cry into your Hello Kitty pillow. I want you to put your headphones on. I want you to listen to some Taylor Swift. And I want you to just shake it off, you bland bitch. Roderick Strong. Adam, you're seriously going to stand there and let him talk to me like that? Never mind. The kingdom was right about you. You never were my friend. The kingdom. Mike Bennett and Matt Tavern came out and hugged Roderick Strong. Jesus Christ, this is killing me as a undisputed era girl, as an undisputed era. You know, I was there from the beginning. As a mom, how am I supposed to be dealing with this? This is my boys, my boys, as in the immortal words of Carlin Anderson and Luke Gallows. This mother, this mama, is not taking this well. Boys, you gotta stop this. You're killing mommy here. Yes, I'm a true mommy, all right? Rhea may have borrowed to coin the term mommy. I will always be mommy. I am the original mommy, all right? I am a mommy and I'm a mommy, okay? I'm Puerto Rican, so yes, I am both. Adam Cole shoved MJF and said, "What is wrong with you? I'm your friend, but I am his friend too. Do you understand me?" Cole apologized for overreacting. MJF agreed to hug it out with Cole. Adam Cole left to go check on Roderick. Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley, and Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli versus the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix. The Lucha Brothers snuck up from behind and blindsided Mox and Claudio with thrust kicks. They took flight, jumping over the top rope and landed on Claudio and Moxley. Rey Fenix followed up with a tope suicida to Moxley. Penta smashed Claudio with a Made in Japan for a near fall. Rey Fenix connected with a diving crossbody on Claudio, but Claudio retaliated with European uppercuts to the Lucha Brothers. Moxley tagged in and battered Penta El Zero Miedo in the corner. Moxley double DDT'd the Lucha Brothers. As the ref was distracted, Wheeler Yuta rocked Rey Fenix by smashing him in the skull with the Ring of Honor World Championship. Claudio pressed up Phoenix for a cutter from Moxley for a near fall. "I don't know how Phoenix got out of that," said Tony Schiavone. The BCC cut the ring in half, keeping Rey Fenix in their corner. Moxley nailed Phoenix with a spike pile driver for a near fall. Rey Fenix countered the Doomsday device by rolling through and stomping on Claudio's chest. Penta El Zero Miedo tagged in and hit a DDT on Moxley. He followed up with a backstabber on Claudio. Phoenix attempted a frog splash, but Claudio rolled out of the way. The fans chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Claudio and Rey Fenix exchanged forearms in the center of the ring. Claudio headbutted Rey Fenix, but Phoenix fired back with a heel kick. Penta tagged in, jumped off the top rope, but Claudio countered with a European uppercut. Moxley dared Penta to hit him. They traded chops going toe-to-toe. The Lucha Brothers stuffed Moxley with a standing spike pile driver for a near fall. Rey Fenix climbed on the top rope as the Lucha Brothers were looking for a fear factor. Wheeler Yuta jumped up and tried to grab Phoenix's boot. Alex Abrahantes pulled Yuta down off the apron. Phoenix moonsaulted onto Yuta for on the arena floor. Moxley cradled Penta El Zeno Miedo, pulled his trunks, and pinned him. They also tore Penta's mask, so Penta was preoccupied with covering up his face. Claudio ripped off Penta's mask, so Penta had no choice to cover up, said Excalibur. After the match, the BCC continued to assault the Lucha Brothers. Claudio put on Penta's mask. After that, we went to the back and we had Alex Marvez caught up with Kenny Omega backstage. Kenny Omega said he's having a sit-down interview with next week on Dynamite with Jim Ross, and the world and would discuss his plans for All In at the discuss his plans for the All In pay-per-view. Can you give me a little scoop? Anything? Asked Marvez. Kenny simply walked away without answering, so we'll have to wait till next week. Swerve Strickland came to the ring with the Mogul Embassy. Swerve, you all didn't believe me when I said the Mogul Embassy is going to take over this year. That's why last week we had to prove a point and drive it really home by flying to Seattle and visit the Buddy Wayne Academy ourselves and put the fear of God into Nick Wayne. AR Fox, Darby, let's not waste any time. Bring your ass out here. Darby came out. Darby, Fox, tell these people the whole story. I tried to call you, but you never answered. I live with you and your demons. Don't say I didn't try. I tried to help you. There was only one person I could save, and that was you. So I had to leave. And then look what happened. You got to AEW all by yourself. I didn't even have to put a word in. So congrats. If you're mad that I had to put a word in for a 16-year-old Nick Wayne, that's what is this about? I respect you, Fox, no matter what you do to me. I'm always going to credit you for changing my life. It looks like you have some new friends. You got to remember, I have friends too. The arena went pitch black. When the power went back on, Sting was in the ring with a baseball bat. Sting held his bat and pointed to the sign in for All In. So this is a WrestleMania moment, I guess, right? Sting and Darby reunited here on Dynamite. Sting seemingly throwing out the challenge for All In. London, Sunday, August 27th, live from Wembley Stadium on pay-per-view, said Excalibur. This match was fucking ridiculous. It was not needed. Hikaru Shida should have already been in the Fatal 4-Way, and that was the end of it. AEW Women's World Championship match, Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay. Shida and Anna Jay locked up. Shida shoved Anna Jay to the mat. Anna Jay slapped Shida in the face. Shida staggered Anna Jay with a jumping knee strike. Shida battered Anna Jay with stiff strikes and suplexed the challenger. Anna cracked Shida with a heel kick. Shida pulled a chair from out beneath the ring. She set it up and ran to launch herself off the chair, but Angelo Parker jumped in the way, preventing Shida from jumping. Anna Jay grabbed a distracted Shida and planted her face first onto the ring steps. Anna applied the Queen Slater to Shida. Shida was fading, but Shida broke the grip of Anna Jay. Anna jumped onto Shida's back. Shida climbed up the turnbuckles and fell backwards onto Anna Jay. Shida hit the Falcon Arrow on Anna Jay, but Anna Jay was able to kick out at 2. Shida nailed Anna Jay with the katana and pinned her. And then she says, I'm coming to Wembley as champion, says Shida. So, next week they're going to be at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. And that was that. So we're going to go to the fallout of SummerSlam on Monday Night Raw, which was heavily with Triple H. And by the way, Triple H will no longer be on the board of directors at WWE once the merger takes place and it's become TKO. And that means he could go bye bye. They'll fire him, or he'll quit, which is going to suck. You think WWE is shitty now? Wait till they don't have Triple H. My tablet is slow. Sorry. All right, we start with the opening of the show, and Cody Rhodes comes out. He gets on the mic and says he wants to talk about Brock Lesnar. He says he survived Brock, but he could have never imagined what happened next. He said he shared his shock at the exact moment. He says his mom told him that Lesnar acknowledged him. So that's a dig at Roman Reigns. He said he feels on the top of the world like he could beat anybody in the world. Seth Rollins came out. Rollins starts by saying the last time he came out here to address the future of the World Championship, Cody interrupted him and now he's returning the favor. Rollins says if Cody feels like he can beat anyone in the world, then should put it to the test. Judgment Day comes out to the ring. Damien says Cody and Seth are confused because they think they run Raw. Rhea says Judgment Day runs Raw. Priest says that Judgment Day dictates what happens with the championships. He said they already have Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. Priest says Dominic is not done with Cody. Finn Balor attacks Rollins from behind and a brawl breaks out. Sami Zayn music comes out and he attacks Priest and sends him out of the ring. They all take out Balor, who retreats along with his stablemates. Cody says he has a solution for this and suggests a six-man tag. A video from earlier shows Ricochet complaining about his match. Pierce says he brought him here to talk about that tonight. Riddle, Gable, and Ciampa enter the room. Pierce says he's thinking about a fatal four-way where the winner will receive a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Riddle says he's going to dedicate his win to Drew McIntyre. Gable says he's going to teach Gunther a lesson he won't forget. Number one contenders match, fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Ricochet versus Matt Riddle versus Chad Gable versus Tommaso Ciampa. The match starts and all men brawl in with each other. Ricochet and Ciampa are sent out of the ring. Riddle and Gable Matt wrestle for a while and Ciampa comes in and attacks them both. Ricochet with a crossbody and follows it up with a moonsault. Ricochet hits a fisherman buster on Ricochet. Cover 1-2. Gable makes the save. He slams Riddle. Ciampa hits Gable with a reverse DDT. Ricochet kicks Ciampa in the head. Riddle and Ricochet jockey position on the top rope. Ciampa joins in and Gable German suplex all of them to the mat. Gable locks in an ankle lock on Ciampa. Riddle with a jumping knee to Gable. He hits a exploder suplex on Ricochet. He hits a final flash knee to Ciampa and sets him up on top rope. Riddle hits a suplex on Ciampa. Both Ricochet and Gable dive onto Ciampa and Riddle, but they roll them up. 1-2 kick out. Gable sends Ricochet out of the ring. Riddle sends Gable out of the ring. He hits hits moonsault. Ciampa with the Willis bell on Gable. Ricochet goes flying clothesline, but Ciampa catches him with a knee. He then hits a backbreaker, cover 1-2 kick out. Riddle hits a Broderick on Ciampa, cover 1-2 kick out. Great 1-2. Gable makes a save. Gable hits a Chaos Theory on Ciampa for the win. That Fatal 4 reminded me something of NXT Black and Gold. I'm not joking. I'm not joking whatsoever. After the match, we go back to Cody and Sammy are talking backstage. Seth comes in and says he doesn't want to be on Cody's team. Sammy tries to be the voice of reason and he reminds them they have a match tonight. He says he has been disgusted with Judgment Day who put Owens on the shelf. He says they have a chance to stand side by side and beat Judgment Day. Cody and Rollins say they are cool and walk away. The Miz is walking backstage and talking on the phone when is asked to wait because LA Knight's photo shoot. Miz said he's going to talk to Adam Pearce. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bronson Reed. The match starts with Reed knocks down Nakamura. Nakamura comes back with a kick to the head. He attacks Reed in the corner. Reed rolls out of the ring. Nakamura with a baseball slide drop kick. Reed knocks down Nakamura again and hits a big elbow drop on him. We come back from commercial break. Nakamura rallies against Reed. He knocks Reed down with a flying kick, cover 1-2 kick out. Reed comes back with a power slam. Reed with a running power bomb, cover 1-2 kick out. Reed climbs to the top rope but is stopped. Reed drives Nakamura to the mat, cover 1-2 kick out. He hits a clothesline to Nakamura. Reed goes for a tsunami and misses. Nakamura hits him with the Kinshasa. He hits another Kinshasa for the win, and Nakamura picks up the win. Pierce and Raquel are in the doctor's office. The doctor says she's not ready. Candice and Indy console her. Becky goes out to the ring. Commercial break. Maxine is on the phone talking to someone when Ludwig Kaiser walks in. He says he wants to congratulate Gable and Gunther is waiting to wipe the ring with his body. He said he has eyes for her for some time now and says some people are better than others. Then he insults Otis and gets slapped. Otis comes in and challenges him to a match tonight, with which Kaiser agrees. Becky Lynch is in the ring. She starts by saying she's so close to the end. She has been fighting for months and she's tired and she's becoming weary, but she is ready to put an end to this saga next week. Trish Stratus, Zoe Starks, comes out. Starks says that she and Trish have already beat her. She says Lynch is scared of her. Lynch says Stark is gifted, but she is too stupid to realize that Trish is leading her the wrong direction. Since she's playing second fiddle to Trish. Stark says she doesn't play second fiddle to anyone. She then says Becky is jealous because Trish picked her over Becky. Shayna Baszler comes out. Shayna says she beat Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam and drove her out of the WWE. She says she wasn't invited to be out here, but she thinks Stark was referencing her. And she said she was the baddest. Stark threatens to send her home just like Rousey. Lynch says that she can't think of a better time for them to fight. She asks Pierce to come down and make it official. Pierce comes out and makes it official. Come back from commercial break. JD McDonough and Finn Balor are talking backstage. Priest walks in and says they need to talk. Balor says he can say whatever he wants in front of McDonough. Priest asks what happened to Balor and why he didn't stick to the plan. Balor says Priest changed the plan at SummerSlam. Priest says he was there to help him, but Balor accuses him of costing him the title. Rhea comes in and asks them to get on the same page. JD McDonough says that briefcase is coming between them and maybe they should get rid of it, and he walks away. Balor also walks away. We go back out to the ring. The match starts and Baszler takes down Starks. She knocks down Starks and Starks attacks the injured eye of Baszler. She then attacks her in the corner. Starks goes to work on Baszler. Baszler comes back with a suplex. She sends her out of the ring. She sends Starks back in the ring. Starks goes after the injured arm with a missile dropkick. We come back from commercial break. Baszler comes back with a clothesline and a leg drop. Cover 1-2 kick out. Starks with a kick to the face. Cover 1-2 kick out. Starks with a super kick. But Shayna comes back with a gut-wrench suplex. Starks sends Shayna out of the ring and dives onto her. She sends Shayna into the ring. Shayna hits the world's baddest slam for the win. Winner Shayna Baszler. Byron interviews Nakamura and says he's tired of people getting in his way, but tonight he won. From now on, he will carve his own path. JD McDonough attacks Sami Zayn backstage. Come back from commercial break. Ludwig Kaiser versus Otis. The match starts with Kaiser attacks Otis in the corner. Otis comes back with a body slam. Otis sent into the ring post. Maxine on the apron and Kaiser talking to her. Otis attacks him from behind and slams his face into the turnbuckle. He attacks Kaiser in the corner. Vinci comes on the apron. Otis suplexes him onto the ring. Gunther comes in and attacks Otis while the referee is distracted, allowing Kaiser to pick up the win. Winner Ludwig Kaiser. Imperium attacks Otis and Gable comes until Gable comes out to make the save. Jackie is backstage, interviewed Cody and Rollins. Cody tells Rollins to take the interview and leaves. Rollins says Sammy wants to go to the doctor, but the doctor won't clear him to compete. But they're going to wrestle. Rollins says he doesn't trust Cody. Nakamura walks in and offers to be his partner, and Rollins accepts. Miz goes out to the ring. Come back from commercial break. The Miz asks what happened to showing people like him respect. He says he came to Raw to find LA Knight getting the priority over him. He says when he came to WWE a long time ago, he was taught respect. He says Knight didn't introduce himself to The Miz, and he didn't shake his hand. LA Knight comes out. Knight says they thought they got a great introduction at SummerSlam, but introduces himself and offers a handshake, which Miz rejects. Miz says Knight doesn't deserve to shake his hand. He said, you strip everything away from him and you get LA Knight. He says the fans love LA Knight, and now they will love him for the next 5 months. He says Knight is an Attitude Era fanboy cross-playing in his ring. Knight says he doesn't have a problem with The Miz, but doesn't want to get personal. Miz says he has taken his career personal. He then lists the accomplishments for 20 years. Knight says he has been making himself dangerous man for 20 years. He says he looked on as WWE bet on all the wrong guys like Miz. He says Miz got 20 years head start because he is safe. He says WWE knew Miz would would take anything that the company gave him. Knight says he is not messed with. Knight says he is not to be messed with, and became a multi-time champion, but his career is in the toilet right now. Knight said he doesn't mind making him a stepping stone. Miz is in the main event, and Knight is on his level. Miz says he is looking Miz dead in his eyes and asks him to prove him wrong. The Miz takes his coat off. Miz attacks Knight from behind. He goes for the skull crushing finale, but Knight reverses it into the blunt force trauma. The Viking Raiders promo plays. They offer an open challenge to anyone. The Viking Raiders music plays, and they come out to the ring. And they are taking on the returning New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. The match starts with Xavier Woods and Eric. He attacked Eric in the corner. Kofi Kingston tags in and splash cover 1-2 kick out. Woods tags in and attacks Eric. Valhalla distracts Woods and Eric knocks him down. Ivar kicks Kofi. He hits a splash on Woods. Cover 1-2 kick out. Eric tags in and attacks Woods. Ivar tags in and continues to attack Woods, but Eric tags in and goes to work on Woods. Woods comes back with a tornado DDT. Both men tag out. Kofi drop kicks Ivar and knocks him down. Hits a crossbody on Ivar. He hits the boom drop on Ivar. Kofi with an SOS, cover 1-2 kick out. Eric tags in and attacks Kofi. He tags out, but Kofi fights back with tags. Woods hits a Trouble in Paradise, while Woods hits a dive-in elbow for the win. Winner, the New Day. Byron interviews Becky Lynch, and she's interrupted by Shayna, who says she doesn't need her help. She also says she has a lot of score to settle, and she will come looking for her next. Lynch says she's hard to find. Come back from the commercial break. The New Day are backstage, and Jackie interviews them. They say they feel good about to be back. Kofi says they are gods of the tag team division. Woods say they will interject some positivity back in the division to becoming the tag team champions. Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Before this match, Raquel, Candice, and Indy attack Rhea. Oh, sorry. So the match starts with Nakamura and Balor. Priest tags in, Dominic tags himself in, Nakamura with flurry of strikes and a knee drop. Priest pulls Dominic out of the ring. Come back from commercial break. Priest goes to work on Nakamura. Balor tags in, frequent tags in each tags other and takes turns attacking Nakamura. Nakamura with an enziguri. He tags out and Rollins attacks Priest with a sling blade. Rollins hits a Falcon Arrow on Priest. Rollins hits a suicide dive on Priest and sends him into the ring. He hits a suicide dive on Balor. Priest stops Balor and slams him. He sends Rollins outside the ring. Balor tags in and hits a shotgun drop kick to the outside. On the outside. We go to commercial break. Rollins hits Dominic with a clothesline. Rhodes tags in and attacks Balor and Priest. He hits a Balor with a power slam. Goes for the Cody Cutter, but Balor reverses it into a DDT. Cover 1-2 kick out. Cody hits a Cody Cutter. Cover 1-2. Dominic makes the save. Balor sends Rollins outside. Priest hits Cody with a briefcase from behind. Sammy attacks Priest and sends him over the announce table. Rollins super kicks Balor and Rhodes hits a crossroads for the win. Winner Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura. After the match, Nakamura hits Rollins with a Kinshasa while they're celebrating in the ring. And that's the end of Raw. That's it. We're done. So, please do me a favor. It's pinned to the top of my X feed. Go check out my reactions to Impact Wrestling. And we'll be doing that every week from now on. Please do me a favor, go check out everything on my YouTube channel, including the review of SummerSlam 2023. Please also like, share, and subscribe, and turn on the bell for all notifications so when you know that I'm uploading or trying to go live, you'll know about it. Please do me a favor and go check out my Astro Classics at myAstroClassics.com. Go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. And check out High Intensity 10 on August 18th, HOG Wrestling. And you can get everything, all the info on hogwrestling.net. And don't forget to download the Premiere app, $9.99 a month, and you can see the pay-per-view and the event. I will be back here next week. Hopefully it's at my normal time at 2 p.m. on Friday. So I want everybody to have a great weekend. And we are now on to All Out. So, no, not All Out, All In. Sorry. I love you all. I will see you next week and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.